today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
It really is dark satire how over the top it is to have the government mouthpieces saying we're going to ban you using the word bossy. If you write an essay about hunting with your grandfather with a shotgun for ducks, we're going to arrest you or kick you out of school. And then say, well, it's school policy. They're just setting the precedent for total authoritarianism. We've got Mark with us this segment and one more. Then David Knight's got a bunch of Second Amendment breaking news, huge pedophile ring news that's breaking that really shows you how evil these people are and why they want the kids. And that's really the agenda that's happening here. But, Mark, I've been ranting. Make other points that you've been chomping at the bit to get to.
You know, you've articulated quite a bit of it. It's just incredible how the liberals establishment today, and of course, very similar if the Republicans were in power, but what we're having today is people will agree to a label. If you just simply say, oh, that's racist, people are so mindless, they'll just agree with you. Oh, that's sexist. Oh, okay, that's what people have determined are sexist. They don't think for themselves, and that's what I try to illustrate and hopefully did illustrate with my YouTube videos, the petition series, where, I mean, you've showed many of them, much of the audience may know, where I just ask people to sign a petition to, using the keywords, will you support Obama and then just insert crazy idea here, from banning the First Amendment, banning the Second Amendment, banning the Third, banning the Fourth, banning the Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, and then just repealing the whole Bill of Rights. I mean, literally, in 10 minutes on a Monday afternoon at the beach. If this was a Saturday afternoon, people would have.
Yeah, you're not cherry picking people. I mean, we went out and interviewed 12 people, and 11 said ban water for Obama.
Well, I remember after I started these, some of your crew was out here in San Diego shooting, and they contacted me, and we went out and we shot some footage. And I was glad that they could see firsthand that, I mean, it's 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 people will sign it. And I wanted people to argue with me. I mean, I would include that in the video. I want to make the point, having people say, wait, why would you want to do this? This is ridiculous. Why would you want to repeal the First Amendment? But it's just incredible how, since everything has rolled out onto these private corporate systems, and the terms of service are just so Orwellian. I mean, if they just said, yeah, you know what, if you just question whether President Obama, was born in America, maybe he was born in Kenya, that's racist. That's a racist. We've just
determined. And by the way, let's add the key here. They're adding these rules to the internet wide. So it's not like, oh, well, Google's its own company, so let them do it. No, they're bringing this in with CISPA and SOPA, internet IDs, all of it, to a web Bill of Rights, they're calling it. And, Mark, do something for me. You know I went and questioned politicians and went to universities to confront dumb people and went out and did man on the street before you did. You do a better job, I think, than even I have. I've promoted you. I don't even care. My reporters are so nice that I'll say, go ask the same questions or ask similar ones. They go, that's Mark Dice's bit. And I have to tell them, listen, Mark wants you to do it, and we want everybody else to do it to expose the tyranny. We're not copying jaywalking. People forever have gone out and shown dumbed-down populations. That's how you expose it. Give my reporters permission from you to basically take your questions and go out and redo it.
Do it. You take the concept and put your own personal spin on it. Verify that it's not just people in Southern California that are doing it.
Exactly, because it's not about Mark Dice or Alex Jones. It's about showing how fascistic these nutballs are.
Yeah, it's incredible. And if it happens in Texas where you're located, I mean, it's going to happen everywhere. We may expect such a thing to happen here in, Airhead, the land of fruits and nuts, which is Southern California. But I've seen your crew doing, demonstrating some of the same concepts that I've done, and it's the same thing. Yeah. What can you name any of the Bill of Rights? What's ban water? It's incredible. I mean, I never thought when I started this that I could have just went right down the line. First Amendment, Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, the whole Bill of Rights. Let's save the Holocaust Beach Festival. I mean, the Holocaust Beach Festival video, I didn't even know if I should post it. I didn't know if it was in bad taste. I posted it, and I mean, nobody questioned me. It was 10 minutes, and everybody
They're like,
I
let's
asked,
burn Jews on the beach for Obama.
They had no idea. They thought the Holocaust Beach Festival was a big party at the beach, and you could go and look it up on YouTube, where I said the Jews have a contest to bury people in the sand. They have big bonfires. It's a big festival. The Jews, they have a Holocaust reenactment, Alex, is what I told these idiots, and they signed a petition to save this. This is how brain dead.
That's it, and the system doesn't want it known what they've done to people.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
Just let me think.
In fact, even now, orders are being shouted into telephones, and men with guns will soon be on their way.
It's Chancellor Sutler.
Damn it.
Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
You designed it, sir. You wanted it foolproof. You told me every television in London.
Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission.
We need cameras.
How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others. They will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic you turned to the now High Chancellor Adam Sutler. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent.
Obama.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar.
Now, folks, InfoWars nightly news reporter and co-host David Knight is going to be piloting the transmission in the next 3 final segments, because he's got a bunch of breaking news on great things happening for the Second Amendment federally and at the state level. But you got to remember, you got to be on the offense winning or you're on the defense losing. So we're in deep trouble when it comes to the Second Amendment, but because America has awakened, we're starting to have some big victories. So we're going to tell you about those. And then incredible how it's come out, how a bunch of different top BBC people, government officials, torture rings, murdering children, torturing children. It's all coming out, just like our sources said years ago. It's tied into Mexican drug cartels here. It is just hellish. Absolutely hellish. He's going to cover that as well. Mark Dice is here with us. He had both his big YouTube channels with, I know one had like 60-something million views. The other had a bunch of views. Most of his videos ended up getting picked up and covered on national television. And it was just showing mainly Democrats saying we want to kill the conservatives, we want to put them in FEMA camps, we want to take their guns, we want to take their kids, we want total surveillance. Really, it's an authoritarian party. And we know the Republicans are bad as well, the old blue bloods. But the libertarians are taking over the Republicans right now with Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and others. And that's really scaring both the Republican blue bloods and the Democrats as well. So there's a real power struggle right now in America. But the good news is America's waking up. I want to get David Knight's take, as he's been holding the last 20, 30 minutes, sitting in the studio listening to Mark Dice. Do you have any points you'd like to make? I'm sure you do, David. And then any questions for Mark Dice?
Yeah, Alex, one of the things that I think this really illustrates is the problem that we've been seeing with all of these CISPA, SOPA, ACTA, PIPA, all these different pieces of legislation that are being championed by Dianne Feinstein and Mike Rogers. I mean, those are the top Democrats and Republicans. They're united at the top. We've got to unite at the grassroots level to fight this. We've got to unite around liberty because they're united around censorship and control.
That's right.
And I guess one of the things that bothers me about this is that, what we saw with Mark Dice's situation is, how do you appeal this process? When they shut down Telly Blackwood's YouTube channel, he was somebody who did a video for the Paul Revere contest, and he had it was a spoof of Michael Moore and
his
Piers
video
Morgan.
got 800,000 views in a few hours.
That's
they
right.
could see it was going to get 10 million, so they shut it down.
They shut down his entire site. He had 9 million views. It's much smaller than Mark Dice's, but it was still a very large channel.
Well, he's also
and he had a
an
business.
accomplished television and movie actor.
That's right. And
He's
they just shut his business down. And he was in this catch-22 situation where even though he wanted to try to appeal the process, but they had shut down his Google accounts, so he didn't have the Google accounts to appeal the process. So
and that's
you get into this.
When they shut down one of your Google things of dozens, everything goes down. Your identity goes. Google says, we want to be the web. We've taken over. You've got to have us to live. We dominate the web. And then you do one thing we say is wrong. We shut down everything you've got.
That's right. And that's what I see coming up with the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Web ID is right there in the secret treaty.
Exactly.
Tell folks about that. An American Congress isn't allowed to see that secret treaty. But Anonymous leaked it.
What is going to be our due process? Do we have any presumption of innocence? Of course we don't under the TPP. Under TPP, you have corporate entities, yet to be defined, that are going to be at a par with the government. And, of course, an individual corporation can go into arbitration and have equal representation with a government, with an entire government. So it's a massive takeover. And they're pulling in things that don't have anything to do with trade. They're pulling in things like the Internet.
And they're codifying what's been tested on Google and Facebook, covert censorship, just like the NSA would deny they were spying. Oh, we're not censoring. It's the same thing. Deny, 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 like Bill Clinton said, while they're doing it. We knew they were spying on InfoWars and Drudge years ago. Now it's been confirmed by FOIA documents. It's the same thing, folks. Tyranny is looking you in the eye. It's illegitimate. Rand Paul last week said, look, Congress is being spied on. The Senate is being spied on. They're spying on the Intelligence Committee that's over them. This is like your kids. You come home and they're sitting in your chair telling you what to do, telling mom and dad to take the trash out, folks. Mark Dice.
Yeah, and they're so powerful. I mean, it's not only just spying on them and recording who's calling who, but you guys know this. You've been reporting this for years, probably 10 years. They're recording the audio content of calls. And thanks to Edward Snowden, much of what you guys have been reporting for a decade is finally being confirmed in the mainstream, even though it's been confirmed in trade journals and patent applications and approvals.
And NSA sources we've had bigger than Snowden.
Yeah, but now we have finally, oh, wait, so they are recording every single phone call through Operation Mystic of an entire country, which was a report that was published written 5 years ago in 2007. So just imagine the power that they have now. They can record the audio of every single phone call ever that has been made. And
I love how the gullible public, hold you over if we have to, Mark. I'm leaving so you'll get a word in edgewise here with David if he wants to do one more segment with you. The point is that these gullible people say, I have nothing to hide. That's like when you put your address and what you got for Christmas on Facebook and then you're going on a trip and people rob you. Bad people will use your stolen data against you. You protect your data. You lock your door at night, not because you're a bad person, but because there's bad people out there. I'm sick of hearing, give up all your data if you have nothing to hide, while the government and corporations are totally secretive. Mark.
Yeah, I guess Anne Frank didn't have anything to hide either. For those who don't know, she was the Jewish girl whose diary was later published about the atrocities of the war. And so I guess, if she didn't have anything to hide, her and her family, maybe they should have just came out and tried to reason with the Nazi officers.
Why were they hiding? They should have given their information up.
Yeah, they didn't have anything to hide. I mean, what was going on with them? They're just.
Why were they against tattoos on their arm for IBM? Maybe it's good for the Jews to have tattoos on their arm to prove they're not racist.
And with the NSA spying, I mean, people laughed at me, almost 10 years ago for putting tape over the webcam on my laptop. And now, of course, we have Miss Teen USA, who was almost attempted blackmailed by someone hacking into her webcam. And so if just an ordinary low-level script kiddie hacker can do that to her, just imagine what the NSA is capable of doing.
I had my computers looked at